What's up, fight fans? Thank you once again for coming through. Much appreciated. All right, it's done. It's over. Um, it wasn't what we expected. Let's be honest. The build-up was huge. It was never really going to live up to that build-up, that hype. I wanted it to, but I think I could see from rounds probably 2 or 3 onwards that this just wasn't going to be one of those fights. I think there's a couple of things that we need to get off the bat straight away. Chris Eubank needs to get rid of Chris Eubank Sr. and Ronnie Davis in that corner. It's just not going to work. It doesn't make any sense to me. And if anything, they're holding him back. Look, I don't think, and I think I've said this on all my videos about Chris Eubank, I don't think Chris Eubank Jr. is a great boxer, but I think he's a great athlete. But he clearly isn't going to be any better a boxer with those two, I dare say, muppets in his corner. Advice ringside was pathetic. Advice leading up to the fight was pathetic. And I was watching the fight, and I think Ronnie McIntosh said it in during the fight. What are the tactics here? Are the tactics just to land that big left? What are the tactics? And when the going gets tough, what's plan B, C, D, E? That there was nothing. And as much as I want to give George Groves credit, and I will, I've got to say it was bad for Eubank Jr. I mean, if you're a boxer, a good boxer, I mean, and to be fair, Groves and Billy Joe Saunders, you kind of can say they're elite boxers. If you're an elite boxer coming up against Chris Eubank Jr., the blueprint's there right now. The blueprint's there. If you want to have a slugging match, then you might be a bit stupid. If you want to box from the outside and you have the gas tank, you'll beat him. You'll beat him. I remember the Billy Joe Saunders performance because I was there for that one. And unfortunately, I was supposed to be here for this one, but I didn't go. Other reasons I'm not going to talk about right now. But I remember that Billy Joe Saunders performance, and I remember thinking, he can't box. He swings, he misses, he's wild, he comes in with his head, he smothers his work. I don't know how many years ago was that. What, 3 years ago, 4 years ago? Guess what? He still swings, he's still wild, he still smothers his work, he still comes in with his head. And that's because, unfortunately, he still has the same training team around him. He was with Adam Booth for a fight, and that was against Spike O'Sullivan, and he looked good in that fight, and I don't know why he couldn't control his ego and stay with Adam Booth. To George Groves, look, George Groves has still got a lot left in the tank. I think a lot of people have said that, and including myself, have questioned what's left. He's still got a lot left. He's still got a lot left. I think he will go on, depending upon the shoulder. He will go on and probably beat Callum Smith or Jurgen Bremer. But I think the biggest questions are what next for Chris Eubank Jr. He's clearly too small for the weight. He's clearly too small for the weight class. It, at times, let's be honest, looked like a middleweight against a light heavy in there. And I think he actually felt the power, I think, of George Groves. And he was very, very tentative to come and trade and go forward. In fact, I think in the second round, or maybe in the first round, I think he got put down. I think Chris Eubank got put down. There's going to be a lot of questions asked of Chris Eubank, and I think a lot of those questions need to be directed at his father. Chris Eubank Jr. is now, what, 28, 29? He needs to lead his own life and his own training camp now. If he wants to go to America and train with those, go. If you want to get Adam Booth in or go with someone like Dave Coldwell, do it. But what you need to do is move on from your father. That guy is simply not helping Chris Eubank become who Chris Eubank could become. I still think there is a decent boxer in there, but at 28, 29, I'm not sure. I'm not sure we're going to ever see how good he can become. I think we are going to just see this guy, a wild kind of fighter. And that's just how he is. He's just a wild fighter. Steve Kim, who I follow on Twitter, said it quite well. He said, I'm going to try and find what he said on Twitter. What does Steve Kim said? It made sense. Steve Kim said, Eubank fought like that drunk guy at the club or bar who wanted to look tough and was hoping someone would break up the fight before anyone really got hurt. That's the best way to describe it. And I agree. It's like Eubank honestly felt the power and the strength and didn't know what to do. And I feel sorry for him. And I feel sorry for him for this reason. He went back to the corner, especially after he got cut, and he was just looking for advice. And advice just simply wasn't there. You could see it. He was looking for someone to say, okay, this is what we do now. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And it just wasn't coming from anyone. And I feel sorry for him. But at the end of the day, it's his own career, it's his own decisions. If he wants to stick with Eubank and Ronnie Davis, then by all means do that. But you're not going to get anything in terms of world elite level. You'll be okay at British, European, Commonwealth, or fringe world title belts, but world elite level, it's just not going to happen. In saying all that, look, he lost to George Groves, and George Groves is the #1 or #2 best super middleweight in the world. So it's no shame. He's at weight class he's not fighting it as well. So look, I don't want to be too negative on him, but for me, he's got to go back down to 160. It's not going to be any easier down there. Charlo's waiting, Jacobs is waiting, Saunders is waiting, GGG's waiting, Canelo's waiting. And right now, on the evidence of what we saw tonight, he can't beat any of those guys. So it's to the drawing board. It's a shame. ITV will be disappointing as well. Trust me, right now, the execs at ITV know that Chris Eubank equals box office. He equals people buying the pay-per-view buys. Let's be honest. George Groves versus Jurgen Bremer or Callum Smith isn't exciting as Eubank Jr. versus them. It just isn't in terms of box office numbers. But we'll see. We'll see. I have George Groves as the favourite to win now. I think this, for me, was probably the final really anyway, but we'll see. Callum Smith and Jurgen Bremer are both very, very dangerous opponents. But well done to George Groves. And like I said, Chris Eubank, back to the drawing board for everything.